Well, I did it. I confessed my love to Love Shot Guy. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I made like 3 other videos about this whole journey of me trying to put myself out there and do things I would normally never do, which led me to going to a speed dating thing, this sool-bungae thing, and I ended up meeting a guy called Love Shot Guy, and I fell very hard for him, caught feelings very fast, and we have been on this journey for 2 months now. 2 months since I fell in love with Love Shot Guy. And it's been 2 years since I've even felt any kind of emotional attachment towards another guy. I mean, sure, I've had crushes before. I have crushes all the time. I go to the gym, I see someone hot, and I'm like, oh, marry me. But I don't know them, and I just realized that I've been going on these endless dates for the past 2 years with strangers I don't know, looking for some kind of spark, which I never really found until I met Love Shot Guy. And it's literally not just about his appearances. It's the way we talk to each other. It's the way he makes me feel. It's the way we vibe off of each other's energy. Like, I genuinely liked everything about Love Shot Guy. Beige flags and all. As you guys know, we had a sleepover planned out. Yeah, we actually had a date set up where he was gonna finish work, come over and sleep over. And I was just really excited for us to spend the night together. That sounds a little weird. An innocent night together. I feel like that doesn't make it any better. I was just excited for him to come over, meet Kano, have some deep conversations, and ultimately kind of scope out how he felt about me, right? I wanted some kind of closure, but unfortunately, the project that he was working on at his previous company came to a halt, and he was moved to a different company in a different location last minute. And because of that, our sleepover was delayed, so we just decided to get dinner instead. Now, his company that he was relocated to is actually the farthest point away from me in Seoul. So like, it's like a 2-hour drive there. Like, it's very far. But luckily, I do have some work there. My producer is actually there, so I do a lot of my music stuff there. And I just told him that I was gonna be there like next week for a few times. So he was like, oh, we should just grab dinner on one of those days. And I was like, yeah, definitely. He was like, when are you gonna be here? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna be there like Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. In reality, I only needed to be there like on Thursday, but you know, just wanted to be safe. I mean, just wanted some options, and luckily it worked out for the better because he actually had something on Thursday and Friday, so he wanted to meet up on Tuesday when I literally didn't have anything. So yeah, I just did a whole 2-hour drive just to have dinner with him. So yeah, we basically had dinner and coffee that night, and we talked about our dating styles. Like, dating style as in how we tend to act when we're with the person we like, how we tend to flirt, what we expect in a relationship. And the more we got to talking about this kind of topic, the more I realized that Love Shot Guy really doesn't like me as anything more than friends. Yeah, it just kind of hit me. Like, the stuff that he was describing didn't seem to line up with how he treated me. And I feel like deep down inside, I already knew this. I already knew that he didn't like me back, but every time I would lose hope, he would just kind of throw me a treat of hope, and I would just wag my tail being like, oh my gosh, maybe he does like me. And it would just be this constant ping pong of discouragement to delusion, and I was getting tired. But I think at that moment, I finally had that big realization that he was really never going to like me back. And I needed to figure out what I was going to do with all of these feelings that I had. And the only option that I could think of at that moment was to confess my feelings to him. I didn't do it on the spot. I'm not that brave. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have even confessed to him if you guys weren't like edging me on in the comments. Honestly, like I didn't even think that this was gonna turn into such a big series, but you guys were always like supporting me and giving me advice and being very nosy, but I'm also a very big pushover, so I was just giving you all the tea and you guys were guiding me through it. So yeah, I guess I just decided to confess to him on my own terms when I was safe inside of my home with my dog to support me. And I just sent him a sweet message saying how I felt about him, and he replied saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't think I can reciprocate the feelings. He did tell me that he was in the process of dating someone and he did kind of like that person, which I kind of suspected. But he did say that he wanted to stay friends, and he was asking, do you think it might be too difficult for us to stay friends? And that got me thinking, because when I confess, I'm ready to risk it all. I'm ready to like just sever the relationship if need be, because that's what happens a lot of the times. I don't know about you guys, but for me, if someone likes me and I don't like them back in the same way, even if they want to be friends, I can't pursue a friendship relationship with them a lot of the times, because I'll just be way too paranoid thinking that everything that they do and everything that they say will have some kind of like hidden context. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Like I feel like that's kind of a me problem, but I assume that he didn't want to be friends, but he did ask, so I just kind of casually said, oh no, this was not a confession for you. This was a confession for me. I just had these feelings that were growing, and I valued our friendship, so I didn't want it to come in the way. So I just wanted to hash this out before things started getting awkward, I guess. Honestly, I feel like it's kind of just lip service at this point. I really don't even know if he wants to pursue a friendship relationship with me or whether it's even possible. And that part makes me a little bit sad. It really does, but I guess I also am proud of myself for coming this far and actually, you know, making myself vulnerable enough to like someone and finding the bravery to actually confess my feeling towards them despite being an overthinker, introverted guy. And I guess I've come a long way, you know? I haven't found a partner, but I feel like I have learned a few things along the way, and made me into a better person. Honestly, I don't want to be a better person. I just want a boyfriend. Okay, wait. No, I want to be a better person. I do. Honestly, I have been on a few more dates since, and it's been pretty horrible. One of the guys wanted a date, but then he had to bail last minute because he had to work overtime, and then he caught the flu, so I never ended up meeting him. And another guy who was 25 really liked me, and he wanted to meet me in Gangnam, so I was like, oh yeah, sure. And this was this like 25-year-old. And once we met, he was like, oh, I have something to confess to you. And I was like, what? He was just like, I lied about my age. And I was like, okay, are you like older or what? And he's like, no, I'm kind of like much younger. And I was like, okay, how much younger? And he was like, I was born in 2006. And I was like, 2006? How old are you? And he was like, I am 18 years old. And I was like, why did you lie? And he said, I lied because I thought you wouldn't meet up with me if I told you my real age. And I was just like, oh. I drove 1.5 hours to see you, so I'll buy you some coffee, we can chat a little bit, and then we can go our separate ways. And this little kid literally went like, oh, is that all we're gonna do? And I was like, what more did you expect us to do? And he was like, oh, I just thought that we could, you know, grab a room and just hang out. And I was like, first of all, I'm 17 years older than you. I'm 35. You're 18. Your dad is in his 40s. I could probably date your dad. And look, I'm not like ageist. I honestly, even with this whole age thing, I feel like I'm being generous. In a partner, I just want someone who's old enough to be working. So like 25 and up. And even 25 is a 10-year age gap. I feel like that's generous. Maybe I'm limiting myself, but I have boundaries, and 18 is way outside of those boundaries. So yeah. Dating's great. It really is. Hopefully it gets better. Up to this year, I have decided to do more things that take me out of my comfort zone, and I guess I'm finishing this chapter up and moving on to whatever comes next, and I have absolutely no idea. Anyways, thank you for accompanying me along this wild dating adventure. I will see you on the next one.